online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey there, Ash vs. Evil Dead fans! Welcome to another edition of the Ash vs. Evil Dead AfterBuzz After Show. Tonight we are talking about Season 1, Episode 3, Books from Beyond. And as you guys can tell, this episode's going to be a lot of fun. If you guys haven't already done so, please subscribe and rate us on iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, all that fun stuff. We want to hear from you, and we want to hear what your guys' favorite part of tonight's episode was. Let me introduce my fantastic panel, Lex Michael.
I am Lex Michael. I'm all over the interwebs. My handle is @TheLexMichael. I'm really trying hard to figure out how to dance to this music. It's not going particularly well.
Twitter twitch. That's what's up. It's a one-shoulder pop.
It's a one-shoulder
tweet. It's a multifunctional dance.
Yeah, so you can retweet stuff and still monitor your hashtags.
I don't think I'm doing it right.
It's easy. There you go. But I'm Alana Jordan. You can, Twitch me at Alana Jordan.
And I am Emma Fyffe. You can Twitter, Twitch, follow any sort of interneting you need to do. I'm at Emma Fyffe, just everywhere.
Anywhere Emma Fyffe's her soul.
Yeah, that's me.
And I'm your host, Megan Salinas. You guys can tweet at me at @TheMenguin. That's TheMenguin. And we are going to be keeping an eye on the hashtag ABTV ABTV Evil Dead.
Yes,
I was going to do the whole thing. That's not necessary. So if you guys have any questions for our fantastic guest this evening, we would love to hear from you. And speaking of our very, very special guest, in the studio tonight with us is Jill Marie Jones.
Yay!
Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. Not gonna lie, Amanda's storyline has been one of the most interesting and intriguing things about the series so far.
Thank you, and there's so much more to come. And I'm always so bad about it because I just want to give it all. But there's just so many just juicy, yummy bits that are coming. That's just so awesome.
Oh, that's exciting. Well, if you want to, to kind of get that out of your system, you could give fake spoilers to people, and they would never know.
Ooh.
That's true.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Why would you tell them
Just crush people's hopes and dreams.
I know. So, Ash is my brother.
Oh. It all makes sense.
And we have the same mother and father.
Wow.
So spoiler. Yeah.
Fake spoiler alert.
That's that goes against every lesson of genetics I ever learned in 10th grade biology.
2016, catch up, girl.
Our knowledge as a species is increasing exponentially all the time. I'll buy it.
I haven't been in a science classroom in a long time, so I'm not going to question that.
Who knows what has changed?
That is true. I actually have a question on the hashtag already because somebody tweeted this at me hours ago, and they needed to know from you, Jill Marie, in the pilot, is this a throwaway line or does it have a deeper meaning? It is, of course, the line of the Deadite claiming that they know who you are.
You know what? I've gotten that a lot, and I have to say, not to give anything away.
Right.
So, yeah, maybe.
For anyone who's listening, Jill Marie just has a look of bewilderment on her face.
I mean, keep watching.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know what? That's okay. We don't want any direct spoilers because the ride is so much fun.
Yeah, it really
I
is.
am so like that. My mom, she told me, because I'm binging something right now, binge watching something. And she talks in her sleep. So she's like, Jill, please don't, when you call me, just make sure that I'm awake when you talk to me. And I'm like, okay. Because she started telling me something about a show that she already finished. and she was like, I was like, oh, okay, and so I hung up the phone. But yeah, so I don't like to know either. I like to just be on the ride.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
I feel like you need to watch a story in sequential order because that's the way it's meant to be told.
Yeah.
Yep. No spoilers.
No spoilers.
But I think. I don't think anything in this show is done without purpose or intent
I
behind
think
it.
there's definitely a purpose. We just will find out in the best way possible what exactly it is.
Exactly. And I'm
True.
I'm
It's
okay
going to
with
be
it.
the little bits. It's going to be very Evil Dead-esque with the breadcrumbs that you have to just chase.
And when it's
Me more.
revealed that you're Ash's biological sister, it's going to be astounding.
That's
It's
what they
gonna
meant.
blow
We know who
your
you are.
mind.
You're
Yeah.
Ash's sister. It all makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and continue the trend that we've had for the last 2 weeks. What was your guys' favorite moment in tonight's episode?
For me, it was honestly, I loved the episode. I loved the whole episode. But that first moment with Ruby and Kelly's Deadite dad was just amazing to me because I, as a child, was such a huge fan of Xena Warrior Princess. And if I had closed my eyes and not seen that she was talking to a Deadite and cutting a Deadite's face, which was also amazing, all of that dialogue could have come straight out of Xena's mouth, and it was beautiful. It was everything I ever dreamed.
Also, in that scene, she was brandishing a weapon very reminiscent of a specific weapon from Evil Dead 2.
Yeah, she sure was.
She melted a Deadite's face with it.
It was good.
Yeah, only Lucy Lawless. She's the only person in the history of the entire franchise, and that includes the remake, that made a Deadite beg for its life. And beg her to stop.
That's what I'm saying. It was super
amazing.
Xena. I loved it because she used to do the thing where she would stab people in the artery in their neck and they were going to die in 30 seconds. It was great. Trust me, guys.
Elena, how about you? Favorite moment?
I have to say, I love when they summoned Elagos the demon, and the way that it was shot, just that classic Evil Dead when it comes out of the woods, the quick
Yes.
sped up POV.
Sam Raimi.
Just
Yep.
yes,
Sam
it's
Raimi.
so good. But every time too, I'm like, so are they just like chilling in the woods? I don't understand the shot. But I love it.
They just have like a Deadite camp.
Yeah. Like they're like, we were like roasting s'mores. You really you messed this up.
My
That's
friend
why
and
I'm
I
so
have
angry.
a running joke that actually Deadites, when you see them going like that, it's actually because they're lost, and one of them is just refusing to ask for directions. And everybody else is going, dude, we've been searching for hours. Why aren't we at the cabin yet? It was like, I'm fine. We're gonna get there. Stop hounding me.
Yeah.
That is the conversation we always imagine.
I love that.
It also feels a little bit to me, since they always get summoned and they always know exactly where they're going, it's a little bit like in a video game where you respawn very far away from where you know you need to be.
Yes, it's very World of Warcraft, where then I like end up in the graveyard and I'm pissed because I have to go and find my body.
Yeah.
It's like whatever the demon is shows up, oh, I need to be over there. Boom, go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just respawn.
Just the whole way that whole thing was shot too, and just seeing the demon, the little shake, and it's just the way this episode was done was just awesome.
yeah.
Well,
no.
you brought up the demon. I thought it
Michael
was
Bassett.
I thought it was really cool that most of the demons that we've seen in the Evil Dead mythos so far are essentially possession demons.
Yeah.
They're demons, they don't necessarily have a form, but they will inhabit another form, whether it's a person or an inanimate object or skeletons.
Yeah.
Whatever. This one looked like one of the Cenobites from Hellraiser.
Yes, that's exactly what it looked like. And all I could think was, oh man, I want to see this in a Halloween Horror Nights maze.
Dude, I want to see that dude at Starbucks.
So, Universal. First of all, I have some words for you, Universal. First of all, be cool and release some of the licensing rights for Army of Darkness so that we can talk about Ash going back in time.
Exactly.
Shame on you. Second of all, give me Ash versus Evil Dead next year for Halloween Horror Nights. I am
Yes.
not asking politely. I am demanding it. So
I thought you were about to say, like, from the Housewives, don't be uncool, be cool, like from was that New York? Real Housewives
Oh
of New
yeah,
York?
Real
I thought you,
Housewives of New York.
Don't be uncool. Like, I thought you were about to say that.
don't be uncool,
Cool.
Universal. Be cool. But so, Jill, what was your favorite moment from tonight's episode?
Oh my geez. You know, there's so many. Well, there's so many bits. But it was the first scene that I had with Dana, and that was really lovely. And I kind of spoke about it earlier with you guys, but there's certain times where you feel like there's just magic, like in the moment, and it really felt like that. We were just two actresses, just bonded, supporting each other, creatively, and that was really lovely. So I love that scene with us.
From a feminist standpoint, I also really, really enjoyed that first scene between the two of you, because though eventually later when we revisited it, you guys were talking about Ash. So technically it's a little borderline whether or not that's passing the Bechdel test, because you were talking about a man, though not in a romantic capacity. But, in the first scene, it was just the two of you talking about the circumstances you were in, your individual circumstances.
Right.
And it was just so great to see this scene happening between two really dynamic and complicated female characters.
Thank you. And also too, just like even like on screen, but then also too off screen, just as actresses, we just had a beautiful like bonding moment, and it just felt like sparkles were everywhere.
Yeah,
so
because I mean, you guys filmed in New Zealand.
Oh my God, it's like a backdrop for a postcard.
Exactly.
So it's like, oh, and I get paid
Right.
also to live here. That's awesome sauce.
I had a question from at L Daryl on Twitter, who asks, Jill, how did you hear about the role, and were you a fan of Evil Dead?
It came like normally, like it would come,
right?
As, just a normal audition. Of course, I'd heard of the Evil Dead franchise because it's iconic. Come on,
of course.
Sam Raimi, what's up? But I'd never seen the actual films. I got into gore later on in life.
Okay.
But I binged it, like clearly I do, when I was during the process.
Right, of course, yeah. And that, which leads me to my question was, when you got the call that you were hired for this, what was your reaction?
Okay, well, first of all, I don't know how much time we have, but I will say...
We have 50 minutes.
We have 50 minutes, okay. Well, so it was the weirdest, most awesome audition in my career.
Okay.
Let's say that. Because they wanted me to act out all of the scenes. Okay, that sounds like maybe an actor's normal Tuesday.
Right.
But no, it's not like that, because if you notice in the first episode, I don't really have a lot of dialogue.
No.
But I have a lot of action. And they want to see if, whoever they were going to hire was up to be able to do all that stuff. Yeah. So, but yeah, so in a room with couches, like in a, and then you're like falling on the ground, like shooting a fake gun that's not there, walking around corners that aren't there, and you're like walking around, you're like flipping like light fixtures that aren't there, and like you're looking around because it's dark, and so they wanted to see.
Right.
And at first, I called my agent a couple times. I was like, "Are you sure that that's what they want?" And they were like, "No, that's. I'll call again, but that's what they want." But it was so weird. But then after I did it, I was like, "Oh, this was so awesome," And I was up for something else at the same time, and they were wanting to go like now, and I knew that they wanted to test me soon, but they want to go now, and so I hate the next man that dates me because I feel so sorry for him because I'm a little different now.
I would like to think of it as you've grown and changed for the better, right?
Exactly. I think so. And also, too, like, we have an amazing stunts department in New Zealand. And, man, like, Stu, he literally pushed me past my mental limitations. He knew what I was capable of.
Right.
And I was just shooting folks and fighting folks, and I was loving it.
That's always great when you work with people who make you believe that you could do things that you never thought you could.
Yeah. And also, too, like, that see something that you don't see.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Nah. And it's fantastic. So, sorry, Lex, we kind of skipped over you. What was your favorite?
I was riveted. If you notice, I didn't complain at all. I was like, no, everybody go on. This is great. All right. I always cheat a little bit and go with more than one. So it's either Ash saying to the demon that they summoned that he essentially catfished them.
Yes.
And that you should really update your picture because you don't look like that. Or Ash saying, well, it's totally fine because it's like a painting. There's already paint on it, so if you dump a bunch of more paint on it, it doesn't matter. And Pablo saying, that is incorrect.
Yes.
Now, watching this episode, I know what Dana was talking about, saying that there's just going to be so many one-liners we can make T-shirts out of.
Yes, I was about to say, I love your favorite moment because I had already processed the T-shirt in my head as soon as the line was said. For both.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that by the end of the season, we all have Ash versus customized Ash versus Evil Dead T-shirts.
It's
what I'm hoping.
Get on this internet.
Yep.
So my favorite moment was just seeing this demon because it is the most unique Deadite we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Outside of the physical manifestation in Evil Dead 2, this is the only time we actually get to see the demon for what it really is. And that was really cool and exciting, and the character design was just top-notch.
Yeah.
And I can't even imagine what it was like staring that thing in the face on set. Ugh.
That was a real amazing actor in that body. So, sometimes people think, oh, that might be some imagery or whatever, but, that was a real actor and all of that. And we felt so bad because it was so cold. And he was, literally naked. Oh, no joke. He was literally naked.
With, a helmet thing on.
Yeah, but it was so cold. And because it's a stage. But that was, that was probably, of all of them, and we have some scary ones coming, but that was probably the scariest one for me.
Yeah,
Illegos was
it has no eyes.
I was going to say,
mouth.
it has no face, basically. It just has a terrifying mouth.
Yeah.
I can also envision not only perfect T-shirts, but a perfect universal maze with that as just
Exactly.
Right.
Which I would love to see before the show. I know you mentioned that the haunted houses kind of give you anxiety. I want to see you now, though, that you've been on the show, because I feel like you've probably seen some more messed up stuff working on this show.
Yeah, you know what? Oh goodness, yeah. No, it's crazy how I go toward it, but I'm no. But I run toward it, but no, stop. It's this love lust, but then this no hate. It's really strange, but I'm enjoying it.
Although, yeah, horror nights you might kick into character though, so
That's true.
That would be awesome though. I would love that. I would do that because I would be I learned something so great. If I just all of a sudden
Spirituals and
I got my imaginary gun. I'm no, wait, I'm not Amanda. I'm Jill.
So talking about that, and did you have to do anything specifically to prepare for the role? Because usually when people have to play police officers, they have to do some form of training, either if it's reading up on laws or if it's kind of doing some things to help them with the physicality of the role.
Right.
Was there anything you did in particular?
Well, yeah, and thank you for asking. I did some arms training because I wanted to make sure that I knew how to handle a gun in a safe way. You would think because I'm from Texas, I have 10 in my purse. I do not. But yeah, so I want to learn how to do it in the safe way. And then I also, I have some boxing training just for workout, but I learned some MMA stuff in New Zealand, which was awesome.
That's really cool.
And yeah, I was oh wow, I'm going to be fighting also? Okay, here we go. But it was so great. It's literally, it's the gift that just keeps giving. It's so amazing to find out something about yourself that you did not know that you had inside. And I'm known for a show, Girlfriends, which is I love. I feel like I gave birth to Tony Childs, and I did. But I love that show so much. Shout out to Mara Brackakil. But I didn't know that I was funny. That was a shock for me because I only had dramatic acting training.
Right.
So I didn't know that I didn't know that I was funny. So it's just great when you find out these things about yourself that you didn't know. So I'm doing that right now.
And speaking of finding out things you didn't know, we were talking about it a little earlier. When you initially got the part and you're looking at your script, you didn't realize that this was a horror comedy necessarily.
Oh, no. Because the script was so tightly held because they didn't want it to get out. So I only had my sides, Amanda's side. So I thought when it said comedy on my appointment sheet, I thought that was a typo. Because I come from a comedy world, and I can find a joke on a page. I was like, where's the funny? I don't see the funny. So yeah, I thought it was a typo. I was like, but yeah, no, it's been incredible though. It's like and even like talking with Sam Raimi, I was like, are we on the same, am I doing what you want for Amanda? Oh yeah, you're great. You're doing great. He's by the way, let me just say, he's just such an amazing guy. And if you ever were to meet him, he literally has a heart of gold. Like, it's so great when you meet somebody that is iconic or that you look up to, that doesn't disappoint you.
Sure.
Because sometimes you meet people that you look up to and that they disappoint. But like, he literally has a heart of gold, and he's not only respectful to his cast but also to his crew, and he makes you feel like you're a part of the process, which I think that we are a part of the process. And he gets his shots, but it's just love, man. Like, it's just so super duper awesome.
Yeah, both Ray and Dana talked a little bit about how they actually were involved in the creative process a little bit, when they basically rewrote one of their scenes because they didn't feel like it was the dialogue that their characters would say. Did you have any similar experiences where you got to actively contribute?
No. Well, yes and no.
Yeah.
I mean, Sam directed our first episode, and you see, I was in that country house for like... Girl, I was in that country house for a long time.
Yes, you were.
It was many days. We kept it'd be like month 2, and we're like, what? We're going back to the country house. I thought we had burned that suit already, but no. Yes and no, because he was definitely open to how we interpreted. And I didn't feel like I had creative limitations, which is awesome, because I wasn't reprising a role, which is, you don't want to reprise a role it's scary, like something so iconic to reprise something. Yeah. So you got to take on something so massive. But yeah, he was really open in terms of rewriting scenes or whatever. It was just all on the page for me.
Yeah.
It was just it was on the page.
I did have a question, and granted, after the pilot, I just had so many questions about your character and about backstory and about what was going on with all the Deadites. But something I do want to ask is, when her partner got possessed by a Deadite, and the Deadite was pretending to be back to normal, and he said, I need you. And she had a very emotional reaction to that. I was wondering, I was like, they were partners for 10 years.
Yeah.
But
was there a little bit of a romance, even if maybe it was a little one-sided?
Right. Well, the choice that, and maybe this kind of goes into what you were saying, but the choice that we kind of came up with, because I was just trying to have some kind of grit, because it happened so fast in that episode. And just having some base, is she was his boss. They both kind of had a crush, but she would never step over that line. But they had a love. They were best friends.
Right.
But also, too, there was something else there as well. And so when he said that, I think if it weren't for that, she would have blown his head off from jump. But the fact that he was in her heart made it a little confusing, which is why it took so long for all of that end part
to get resolved.
And we keep seeing that over and over, where you just that little spark of maybe they're still there, and it's just
welcome
that
to being a woman. Welcome.
Maybe no.
Nope. Don't know why I keep hanging on to that.
Move on. Moving on. It's time to move on. I got real here for a moment. So okay. Talking about this episode, one thing that also kind of stood out was Pablo's idea for a team name.
Oh dear.
Oh, geez.
Yes. And Alana, you weren't here for this, so we have a treat for you. So
Please
guys,
be a t-shirt. Please be a t-shirt.
Oh, man.
no, but maybe.
Future t-shirt. Future
Maybe,
t-shirt.
one day. Well, we all thought Ghost Beaters was a terrible, terrible name. So, folks, we now present to you, we collaborated after we watched the episode, and we now present to you the top 5 team names that are way, way, way better than Ghost Beaters. Number 5, Ghost Facers. Ghost Facers.
That just makes it sound like you have a ghost face.
Which, Ghostface is an awesome, iconic villain, so that's
true.
fine. But for anybody who's seen Supernatural, you know why Ghost Facers is an awesome name. Number 4, Blood Lovers. That was Jill's.
Yes.
It was pretty fantastic.
I love you, my blood lovers.
Yeah. Number 3. Now, I might mispronounce this, Lex.
That
The
was great.
Necronomic Congregation.
I love that. I love that.
Yes. Number 2, the Groovy Gals.
The Groovy Gals.
Groovy Gals.
Yep.
And number 1, and I want to say that we were all in agreement on
Yes.
this. The Deadite Divas.
Yep.
The Deadite Divas.
Hashtag Ruby, Amanda, and Kelly. Yeah.
I love it.
I do love that.
So we want to hear from you guys. What is your top 5 names that are better than Ghost Beaters? Yeah, even Ghost Puncher would have been better.
I think we can all agree
Puncher,
that basically every name is better than Ghost Beater.
That's very, very true.
I want to make Ghostbusters uniforms that say Ghost Beaters instead, and just have it looks like the Ghostbusters, but it's just chainsaw arm.
Chainsaw.
Yep.
Oh,
Who are you
that's
gonna call?
really cool. That's
Ghost
really
Beater.
cool.
I'm telling ya.
So they make their way to the bookstore, which is Books from Beyond, and they meet this poor guy, Mr. Hawkins,
Lionel.
Poor shifty Lionel.
who his life's work has been leading to this moment.
I love that he specifically said, I've been working my whole life to communicate with the darkness. I was like, okay.
That is probably the most interesting bit we get from this episode is
Yeah.
we get a little bit of lore that we had never gotten before, because anybody who's seen Evil Dead 2 knows it was written by the Dark Ones, and then that's all we get.
I have to say, talking again about how this episode was shot, that sequence,
The animation in that sequence.
The animatic was so cool.
with the voiceover, the story of the Dark Ones, and just watching the way, it was just brilliant. It was so good. This episode was so good.
Yeah, finding out that the Dark Ones are neither really demon or human completely, that there's some weird amalgamation of humanity and demons. It's weird because you would think just Dark Ones, that was oh, okay, just some evil demon guys for some reason. But they were people who literally wanted to wage war on humanity with the Necronomicon.
I know.
By opening up a portal to hell. Where did they come from?
I don't know.
Where'd they get the cloaks? I don't know.
Oh. And my question, are they still around in some way?
That was actually, I was thinking of that as well. I was like, ooh, are we going to see some Dark Ones show up?
We've been busy writing Necronomicon Volume 2.
The sequel, what?
Can you imagine?
30 years
Oh my
later?
goodness.
It's going a lot faster.
Imagine what would be in the Necronomicon Volume 2.
It's the 30
it would
years
be
later
the
sequel.
updated profile photos of all of the demons.
Yeah.
But
Clearly out of date.
maybe it's like Steve Harvey's Think Like a Man, act like a woman, think like a man.
Right.
It's like the version of How to Date if you are
If you're a
from the
demon,
dead,
right.
you're evil.
There's a whole chapter on Deadite Tender, and it's
Deadite Tinder.
Well, guys, you know that if they did release the sequel, they'd just have a bunch of nerds going, the first one was better. Just saying.
The good thing about the sequel is that it's going a lot faster for them to write it now that they have laptops and they don't have to
that's
ink
true.
it out of the blood of dead
don't have
people.
to
you just have to dip the ink cartridge into the
Into the
blood.
blood,
and
exactly.
then just
It's
hit
on
print.
Kindle, actually. I believe.
Oh, yeah, the Amazon store.
Yeah.
Just go to the
Yeah.
Amazon store and buy anything for like $1.
The Necronomicon Volume 2 iBook. Yeah. Don't read off of your tablet.
I can't wait to see the fan fiction. I can't wait to see the fan fiction after the sequel comes out.
But then somebody gets book on tape and ruins it forever.
Yep. Boom, boom.
To be fair, that means they made it through reading the entire thing aloud, which is impressive.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
It's true. That's
It was
true.
a team
done.
So
effort.
don't
They
go
were
to that
getting
book
picked off
signing
one
because, I mean, who wrote the book if they read the whole first one? Like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
that's, like, maybe don't go to that book signing because maybe it's
Yeah.
going to be, you know,
It's-
in true
As
Evil
soon
Dead
as someone's
fashion.
like, we
Yeah.
want the author to read an excerpt, and everyone's like, we gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
See, I'm picturing all the half-demon people in cloaks going, okay, what is your name?
Yeah.
Here you go, enjoy.
Right.
Do we have any more blood of the damned? I don't. I'm running low on the blood of the
What would
damned.
that Comic-Con panel look like?
Like actual Comic-Con.
Right.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So they meet this guy Lionel, and I was. First of all, it's very interesting that Ash would even have him look at the Necronomicon from years ago to begin with, because Ash's priorities were looking for a Viking helmet.
That was amazing, by the way. The specific of why he was looking for the Viking helmet is because he dated this freaky chick who got him really into role playing.
Yeah, that does not in any way surprise me.
Nope.
And yet it still makes me smile.
Yep.
It makes me smile to think about. But yeah, so they get the brilliant idea to summon a low-level demon.
Yes, specifically, Ash's idea is he's like, find me the wussiest demon you can find, and we're gonna summon it, and we're gonna ask it how to put all the demons back. Really?
Well, it kind of sounds kind of smart to me for Ash.
Right.
You know what I mean?
For Ash, that's very smart. Yes.
Smart for Ash. I mean, because it's like, we don't want a big one. We don't want like a powerful one.
Right.
So let's get like the small, like one that doesn't really do much.
Right.
And like let him tell us like how do we get everything back.
Right.
That sounds about Ash.
Yeah, very for Ash, definitely, especially when he's like he preys on the spiritually and emotionally weak. He's like, well, he can do that on his own time. Call him up, let's chat. Yeah, that's Ash. That's,
No big. Everybody's going to be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is interesting to see when Ash uses strategy. Because we
Yes.
don't see that very often.
This
He's
is true.
usually going guns blazing.
Yep.
And he knows what to do once he gets punched in the face a couple times.
Right.
And then he figures out a plan. But what was interesting is the description of this demon. A demon of the mindscape. And something that with like, and I get hints of like dreams and illusions when I hear that. And I hear that, I don't think he's gone. I don't think he's necessarily gone by the time we get to the end of this episode. Although it was great to see Kelly literally throw the book at him.
I love that all she had to do was hit him over the head with the book, and then he went away.
That was definitely
While
awesome.
poor Lionel's like trying to read the passages to send him back, and
and very unsuccessfully. at that.
very unsuccessfully. So this actually brings up a point that you kind of touched on, Lex, about how it was really cool to see a unique demon, because
Yes.
we've mostly seen possession kind of demons. You know, we mostly see regular people turning into Deadites. So when they were first summoning this demon and it was Lionel reading the book, I thought that Lionel was going to get, that it would come through him and he'd get possessed by the demon. So it was really cool to see a demon separate of Lionel, though ultimately Lionel did become a Deadite, but that's neither here nor there.
Poor Lionel. I suppose that once you've committed to this objectively terrible plan, I guess if you're looking for the wussiest demon, you flip through the book and you pick the one that looks a little like a sad potato.
He did.
But he didn't look like a sad potato.
No.
You brought up the whole demon of the mindscape, and he fears and thoughts and all of that. What I thought was interesting, there was an effect that they put on this actor in makeup and this wonderful demon head that looked a little bit, and I loved it, looked a little bit like you were getting bad cable reception as he was trying to come through, which I thought was a wonderful, it honestly freaked me out maybe more than his face.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing scarier than bad cable reception.
He's constantly vibrating.
Yeah.
When he came at me and pushed me back.
Yeah.
So, just as actors, like on the day, he clearly didn't transport.
He didn't?
No, like not on the day.
Man.
Hollywood is fake.
So I like literally would look where he was, and then all of a sudden he'd like run over to me, and I was like, oh shit, oh shoot. But I was like, oh my God, because I literally like he to me, and we have a lot of scary ones, but he to me was one of my hands down scariest. I mean, and that actor again, like high fives, man. Like he really like. Ella Goss is going to go down. There's going to be Ella Goss dolls. I'm so sure of it. There are going to be people who are going to try to
recreate that makeup.
Next year
Absolutely.
at Comic-Con, absolutely.
Yeah.
like a huge like egg, if they could find a huge egg over their head for Halloween next year. I mean, it's going to happen.
It is. And correct me if I'm wrong, this was the same director as the previous episode, correct?
Michael Bassett.
Yeah. He did a stupendous job, like with the lighting and the camera work and everything. It was really fantastic. And again, no pressure for that poor guy, right?
Yeah, you know, what's so awesome, like I always say this just in life in general, like I don't like tentative hands, just in general. Like if you're going to do my hair, just get in there and do it. If you're going to do my makeup, just get in there and just know, you know, but like, oh, I don't know, He went in there and he did not have tentative hands. He went in there, he knew he had a challenge because this iconic beast that we all have this challenge. And he just went in there and rocked it, man. And high fives, you know.
That's really cool that he just rolled up his sleeves and he was like, let's do this.
Let's do it, yeah.
Let's do it. It's going to be groovy.
And also, too, like as an actor, you easily that way because you're like, oh, he knows what's going on. Okay, I'm going to, you said go that way. Well, he's going that way. I'm going that way. You know, so it's so much better for the actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it always helps to have a director who has a clear vision and knows what he's
for sure.
doing.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. So I'm looking forward to seeing this demon come back because it's again the fact that like when he was attacking people, like you could actually see how he was physically affecting their brain.
The synapses and the nerves
that was
breaking
so scary.
down. I was like, oh, that's a demon that really gets on your nerves.
She's like, all puns intended.
That is so confused with myself. Megan hates puns. So.
Bad pun and you should feel bad.
But the animation of the brain synapses snapping, that was really uncomfortable for me.
I just had one of those when you made that pun.
There you go. Fun fact, if you zoom in on Lex's brain, that is what happens. But no, it was very unsettling to see a Deadite be able to tear somebody apart from the inside.
Yes.
Physically. It was just phenomenal.
I think
really
to
great.
me that's kind of my biggest fear is losing my wits.
Yeah.
And losing control of my brain. So to me, that was just so scary. I was worried that something was going to be wrong with them after that happened to them.
I feel like when your brain floods with blood and your synapses break down, like probably that should make some sort of.
This demon causes aneurysms, right? That's
Pretty much.
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Sure. You know, it's like when people talk about, because we have Deadites,
right?
And like we don't have zombies, but I understand the comparison.
Of course,
I get it. But like I never really understood because our Deadites are like powerful. Like, they have the strength of like 12 men.
Yeah,
you know, strong men that play in the NFL. Men, you know,
men that enter lumberjack competitions.
Exactly. I never understood like the zombie thing because they're so lethargic.
Yeah.
And they walk so slow. How do they catch you? And then like I feel like I could blow and you just.
My favorite George R. Romero quote was he was saying, you know, honestly, zombies inherently, if it's just one of them, isn't that scary because you just move slightly throughout the room. But then eventually you fall asleep and eat your face off. And I was like, I mean,
you'd get bored and fall asleep and get killed. But for zombie, again, it depends on what iteration of the zombie that you're talking about.
How do they catch you?
Numbers.
It's
a lot of times it's a number game.
It's numbers, and it's also the fact that they're already dead, so they are relentless. So they will just keep coming.
But I feel like I could by the way, even if I hadn't worked out in a year, I thought I could like run so fast, like past them and like get to Kansas. Like, I mean,
as long as you were walking at a steady gait, you'd be fine.
Exactly. You don't even have to run.
Unless it was the Zack Snyder zombies, which also run.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is
that'd be a great like SNL sketch, by the way. just you're a zombie. Like I'm over here, and I'm like having a burger, and I'm gonna walk over here and have a milkshake. Right.
Again, it honestly depends on what type of iteration of the zombie that you're looking for, because a lot of people have made that comparison that they're not scary because they're slow and dumb and they don't think. But for a lot of people, it's the fact that the idea that what you're looking at is all that a human is, that you're just a hunk of meat, just moving around from place to place, that it's actually more representative of what we are as humans. And then you also get the modern zombies, which are caused by like diseases, like where they can run,
bioterrorism,
run and hunt you down and catch you. Like if anybody's seen the opening to 28 Weeks Later, that is a awful, heart-wrenching scene, but at the same time your heart is pounding super hard and you're just waiting for Rumpelstiltskin to get away from them, and then you feel really angry at him for what he does in that scene. It's really intense. So it depends on what types of zombies you're looking at.
Yeah, because I was like literally like, wow, I mean, because people will say zombies or whatever. It's like, well, we have Deadites, and I get the comparison, but like, I mean, our Deadites are strong.
Yeah.
They have force.
And
you know?
Oh, go ahead, Elena.
I was going to say, they're kind of like the Monster energy drink in this version of the zombies. Like, they are not because of an illness, so they're not worn down. They're possessed by evil, which is a strong force.
Yeah.
So they're this horribly strong force that also takes on kind of the traditional zombie lore of having someone that you once had an emotional connection with, then being a dead version wearing the shell
that wants to eat your face.
And they're also too very manipulative as well. They play on, and kind of what you were saying about Illegos, but Deadites, they play just like in the first episode.
Yeah.
He played into everything that he knew inside of Amanda.
Yep.
You know, and that's when he said, I need you. Like, that was all manipulation.
Yeah.
You know, and so they're very manipulative to get to what they want.
Yeah, well, because Deadites seem to not lose any of their memories of being human. They just are like, well, I'm evil and want to kill everybody now.
It's like when the demon possesses somebody, living or dead, that they can just kind of flip through all of their memories.
Like your whole life, like history, like, oh, she has daddy issues. Okay, I'm going to tap on that, or whatever the case may be. But like, that is what Deadites do.
Which makes them so much more terrifying than the traditional zombies, because it's not just a physical strength, it's a mental strength.
And what I will say is that I'm pretty confident that I could survive a zombie apocalypse, but if it were Deadites, I don't know if I'd make it.
Yeah, no. Everybody has a zombie plan. No one has a Deadite plan. Because you're basically screwed.
What does that bag look like?
For the zombie plan?
Well, like, you know, like the earthquake bag.
Right.
Like what's that bag?
Your
the
Deadite survival
bag.
kit?
Yeah, your survival kit.
Mine just open it and I have Amanda in it. And I'm like, save me.
I mean, you should definitely have a double barrel shotgun.
Absolutely.
For
because you got to chop off the head, so an axe would be nice.
Axe would be great.
Chainsaw, always.
I just want Ruby's knife, but
mystical objects of immense power
but
and
made
unknown
like
power.
Michonne's.
Like her katanas.
Just samurai sword is definitely a good way to go.
Deadite katana.
Yeah.
Be unstoppable.
Also, a bottle of water.
Yep.
Maybe a bottle of lotion. I mean,
You'd probably get very dehydrated.
And also too, some like toothpaste for the Deadite because it gets really rank. Like when you're like
sanitizer,
really close.
Probably too.
Yes,
Oh, and we can't forget like little wipes for when you get completely covered in blood. You don't wanna
you
be
just need like some. You need like some makeup
and
wipes.
only have like a little teeny tiny baby wipe to like try to get all that off.
But that's why you wear your full Ghost Beaters jumpsuit.
Right.
So you can
with your proton chainsaw.
Yeah, with your proton chainsaw.
What I think for me, just to tag up on what we were talking about a second ago, the Deadites specifically over any other zombie type character that I can think of, they have the power, they have the ability to manipulate, but for me, really, what really sets them apart is that they have a personality.
Yes.
It's not just that they're doing all of these things. Like zombies traditionally they're not evil so much as they're just destructive, and they don't feel anything about what they're doing.
Yeah.
The Deadites
just hunger.
They're evil, and they really, really like being evil.
And they're charismatic. They're charismatic.
Yes.
They have jokes.
Yep.
They do.
They are a riot. They make like stuffed animals on the wall crack up. They make like lamps bob up and down.
Laughing moose head.
Yeah.
You know, it's been like really interesting too, though, to see like because we've only shot first season, but to see all the different Deadites and just how they've created their own Deadite.
Yeah.
Because they're all different. You know, like they're all different. So like the actor kind of has created their own version of their own Deadite. So it's been interesting to see like the different Deadites, and they all are different and charismatic and everything.
And I can't wait to see more, because we got to get a glimpse of this in like the previews, and like for anybody who got press packets, there was like little behind the scenes stuff, and this was the Deadite that was featured on all of that.
Yeah.
Knowing that there are more like him, that is really exciting.
It was cool to see inside the pages of the Necronomicon, and as you know, as Lionel was flipping through trying to find a wussy demon and seeing all the different drawings of them, which we now know are not accurate representations.
I love that too. It just felt so Buffy. So we had our Xena and our Buffy moment in one episode with all three awesome ladies kicking butt.
Yeah.
So I just really, really liked this episode a lot.
It was fantastic. Touch on again, going back to like the Deadites. For me, when I hear them talk and they're specifically doing those things to needle at you, the things that always really surprised me were not when they're like cussing at somebody, because they curse quite a bit, but when the things that really take me aback and get me really emotional about watching this stuff is when they say things like, "You pathetic junkie," or "You sad old man," things like that. It's like, those things really hurt.
Well, that's the manipulation part.
Yeah,
because,
exactly.
like that book of your life that they clearly have, you know, they have all the chapters.
Yeah.
Because they know exactly where to hit you. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's what really messes up, you know.
Mm-hmm. And I
brain.
think that's kind of how we see the differences in the horror comedy and how they're able to put them together, is because you have these really hard-hitting, emotional, driving moments, and then you also have, you know, Kelly's dad getting the fork flicked, going, "Stop it, you annoying bitch!" Yeah. Like, so you get both ends of the spectrum depending on what kind of Deadite you get.
Exactly.
I also liked when the main demon in this episode showed up, and he's like, "Oh, what do you want, Ashley?"
That always cracks me up when the demons refer to him as Ashley.
And they almost always do.
Yeah, it's so funny because it's like they're talking to a child.
Yes.
It's like Ashley, like,
But he is a child.
Yeah, to them.
Very true. He is very much a big kid. He has a lot of growing up
That's
to
why
do.
we love him, though, because he's like the kid that never grew up, but like we accept it.
Yeah.
But what's,
Go ahead. No, you go.
Okay, I was just going to say, I think in this episode, maybe we witnessed Ash's first moment of true growth in about 30 years. So good for him.
Yeah, that is true, because
acknowledgement.
Yeah, exactly, because we started the episode with him thinking, okay, I'm going to go in there, we're going to read the Necronomicon, we're going to know how we're going to undo all of this, and then we're all going to go our separate ways, because he's a lone wolf.
Not a lone wolf.
No, an alone wolf. But yeah, then by the end of the episode, he acknowledges that this isn't over, number one, and that he would have died without
his pack.
Without Kelly and without Pablo.
By the way, Wolfpack is a close 6th place entry.
Yeah, very close.
Wolfpack, I do like.
Is that the first compliment that he's given this season?
I do believe so. That wasn't a slightly chauvinistic.
Yeah.
I think it was the first comment. I think it was the first compliment that wasn't straight up chauvinistic, racist, or about him.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Like, you're like a young me.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Though I will say I really enjoyed when Lionel was explaining to him how the Necronomicon worked, and it's like, okay, someone really evil or someone really stupid read from this book. He's like, what if someone really cool just happened to accidentally just read this by mistake?
Yeah.
I love too that Amanda finally gets to see for the first time, Ash, this man that she's had in her head, is this this mastermind. She's like, oh, this is...
Yeah, it's very interesting to see, somebody who she thinks is, responsible for all of this. He is. She's not wrong.
No.
But it's just because he's incompetent.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And she definitely, she's on the journey because, especially right now on the show, she definitely feels like he is the reason. And, and so, of course... Jill, shut up. Stop. It was about to flow.
But I did really like also in the scene that you had with Dana in this episode, how you came to the conclusion where you said to her, if we're both fighting these things, we're on the same side.
That was manipulation.
Yeah.
That was just to get out the thing. No, because you saw that she did not say, I'm going to save your friends.
Right, not at all.
She has an agenda still.
Yep.
That was just her cop jargon.
Yeah.
What can I say to get her to, what girly thing that I can touch on to get her to get me out of these handcuffs? Yeah. That was straight up manipulation.
But it's fantastic.
I was manipulated.
It did. It worked for me. It's fascinating to watch because Amanda does not stop doing her job.
She doesn't have a social life.
Well,
her work is her everything.
But it's incredible to see that you piece together what's going on as you see it, and you get little moments of what an incredible law enforcement officer this woman must be. We don't actually get to see you doing regular police work. We get to see you fighting the undead. But even after this crazy showdown in this bookstore, you have this amazing moment at the end of the episode where Ash says, all right, can I finally explain to you? You say, sure. And you immediately just cuff him. And yes, it's immediately undercut with him, popping his hand off.
What the heck?
But you are playing this incredible cop who is constantly committed to getting the job done, and your only disadvantage is that you just don't know this world yet.
Yeah.
So I am so very, very excited to see where you go from here as you get to know this world.
And you know what's great, and I believe it was Ray that he kind of said it best, but we were having a conversation in New Zealand, and you're really watching a lot of this stuff through Amanda's eyes, because we don't live in a world that has Deadites.
Right.
So it's not like the other shows where you live amongst the zombies or whatever. So everything that she saw, or she thought she saw, but now she knows that she saw it, that's like you going home tonight.
Yeah.
And then what?
Yeah.
This is... Okay, why is a woman turning her head around and walking to me like that and saying, So the thing is, it's so you're really kind of going on the journey with Amanda.
Yeah.
Because everything that you're seeing brand new is what she's seeing brand new.
Yeah.
So it's kind of lovely.
Yeah, and I think it's cool the way that they integrate her into the story as well, where we see obviously that initial traumatic event that she goes through, and now we're sort of seeing her gradually be more incorporated into the main story, and that's very much the journey that the viewer is going on as you, along with Amanda, come to better understand this world.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love it, 100%. I really do feel like I'm kind of driving the car for the viewer car, and then they're going with us into this dark, funny Bruce Campbell world,
That's very, very, very true. There's so... I feel like we could have taken your bits from the last couple episodes, and, that would be the start of, Evil Dead 3. If just Amanda's journey, for me, is strong enough to be its own movie.
Yeah,
I would watch that.
Yeah.
Your mouth to God's ears.
So, we are running a little short on time. We should probably delve into predictions.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I love the light show.
I know, it's
we got
great.
the longer one, though.
Predictions. Well, I don't know if this is so much a prediction as it is a dream. I believe that in the next episode, Ruby is going to find Amanda again, handcuffed inside of the bookstore, and we're going to get a little team-up action.
Oh, I want it. I want it so badly.
I would love that.
Yep.
Can I throw money at it?
Exactly.
Please, just give it
Well,
to
it's
me.
already made, so unfortunately we can't influence them now.
If it
but
doesn't happen now, it needs to happen in season 2, guys.
I think that's very likely. We see Ruby. She, as soon as they open the book, she triggers. She knows. So I think that's very likely. But I think that she'll find Amanda after Amanda has saved herself from the environment and kind of proved her own.
Yeah.
I'm working on my amazing poker face right now, so I'm just listening. I'm just like, okay.
Interesting. Lex?
I mean, that, yes. These things that were done to Ash and Pablo's brains, does that factor back in somewhere down the line? Because like we were talking about, and now what? And
Deadites are trying to get in here.
we talked about everything seems very specific. No part of this feels like it's being made up as they go along. So I'm wondering if that'll factor back in. We don't know where the demon is at the end of this episode. Yeah. We still don't know who Amanda is. I think we're pretty close to learning more about Ruby, who Lucy Lawless' character is, and hopefully maybe hand in hand with that will come a little bit more information about who Amanda is and what she really means in the bigger picture of this story, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I agree. I agree with basically everything that's been said. I think that we're going to get our team up next week. I think that Ruby has some sort of connection to the Necronomicon because she clearly knows what it is. But the fact that she was able to feel it, to feel a demon being summoned, that makes me feel like maybe she has some psychic connection to, like, I don't know, maybe some sort of sixth sense. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate, but she seemed to know for sure. Like I said, there's some sort of connection there. I don't know what it is. I initially last week I thought that because the Deadites were so intent on killing Ash that maybe they didn't need him for something. I was dismissing my prediction from the week before. I'm going to go back on that. I still think that they need him for something.
Well, because they said in this episode that the key to undoing what has been done in summoning forth the Deadites could be inside a man.
The annulment resides within the man.
Right.
Yeah. So either they're trying to kill him because inside of him is the one thing that can stop them, or they specifically need him to finish what they're trying to accomplish.
Right, like create the bridge for real.
Yeah,
so
for real.
So the Deadites can just go crazy.
For real.
So is that hashtag for reals?
With a Z.
For real.
For the Deadite Divas. So yeah, those are our predictions. Now let's take some more questions for our fantastic guests. Everybody we've had on the show has said nothing but wonderful things about New Zealand and about filming there and about the crew. I want to know, what was your favorite memory from New Zealand?
Oh my goodness, Mexico.
Wait, what?
I know.
I didn't know they had one of those in New Zealand.
No, there's so many great memories, but there is a restaurant called Mexico that me and Ray and Dana, we literally were there like so much. It is called Mexico. That was
never lived until you've been to New Zealand, Mexico.
I know, right? You haven't lived, yeah. But no, there's so, like, you know what I love about like doing shoots that are outside of your hometown, because you really get to know your crew and your cast, and so you kind of become a family. Because normally, like in LA, they wrap and then you go to your life, and then everybody goes, like, they spread out. And then, but like in New Zealand, or when you're on location, you go to dinners together every night. You see each other all day, and he's like, "You want to go to dinner with me? I've been with you for 14 hours." but you're like having dinners, and then on the weekends, like, where are we going on Saturday night? So you really kind of get to bond.
Yeah.
So that was lovely.
That's great.
Do you guys have any questions?
I think I covered it,
Well, do you have any upcoming projects that you can't talk about? I know that a lot of times when things are in development, it's a little difficult to talk about stuff, but if there's anything you can talk about, we'd love to hear about it.
Well, I mean, I guess yes and kind of not, but yeah, I write, and I have a script that's being shopped right now, which I'm really excited about.
Nice.
Awesome. So yeah, that.
For sure. Awesome. Well, where can fans go if they want to keep up with you and about all your projects?
Well, they can. Oh my goodness. Okay, they can go to my Twitter at @MsJillMJones. And they can go to It's Me Jill Marie on Instagram, and they can go to my Facebook page. Just look up Jill Marie Jones, I guess, on Google. I don't know what that is. But yeah.
She's on the internet, guys. You can find her there.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come in and talk to us and geek out about Evil Dead with us.
Oh, thank you. It's been great.
It has been. Thank you so much. Emma, where can people go if they want to find you?
Well, they can go to Twitter or Instagram at Emma Fyffe. That's my name, EMMAFYFFE. If you're listening, those are all F's as in Fred. There are no S's as in snake. They tend to sound the same on the phone or when you say them into a microphone and they get recorded and transmitted to people's ears. I do a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz TV. I tweet about all of them. So, guys, just follow me on Twitter and you will know literally everything that's happening in my life.
Elena.
I also have a Twitter. It's it's at Elena Jordan because that's my name, and you can find me on Instagram at that Elena Jordan girl.
I'm Lex Michael. I'm on all the webby stuff at the Lex Michael.
I don't even know what you said. That was fantastic. I wish I could say it again.
I get that a lot.
Well, thank you guys. I'm your host, Megan, and you guys can follow me on Twitter at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin. And on Instagram. I'm also on a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz, this being my current second favorite. I have to be honest. I know. But this is I will get no end of
get out. Boo. No t-shirts. No t-shirts for you.
But you guys, and I also write articles for the Movie Chick. That's Chick with 2 Ks. Be sure to check those out. Thank you to everybody on the hashtag. Thank you to everybody on the live chat. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We will see you all next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.